Hey, and welcome back. About a week or two ago, I released a video on my channel building a new 10-inch tom for my walnut kit, and then also trying the new Evans HD dry tom heads. And I got a lot of nice response from the viewers out there, but I also got some nice response from the folks at Daddario and Evans, and they let me know that they were grateful for the work I've been doing promoting the Player Circle program and utilizing their products in some videos over the last year, and wanted to send me a care package to say thank you. Now, they didn't ask me to do an unboxing video or anything with this. They said it was no strings attached and that they just wanted to say thanks and give me some tools I could use for my own gigging life or some upcoming videos. But I thought that was really awesome of them to do. And it doesn't get lost on me that the reason I'm able to have any presence with a company like Daddario is because of all of you guys out there who watch these videos and help boost it in the algorithm and have given me a larger audience over the last 5 years. So I thought it would be fun to share some of the different things they sent me, let you guys know about it, and maybe you'll see some of these in some future videos down the road. So first thing here, we got one of their magnetic drum keys. I already have one of these. I use it all the time. I love that it's magnetic because it won't rattle on a drum while you're playing. So that's been really helpful, and who doesn't need another drum key? Oh, and here we've got like an Evans t-shirt with a pocket, nice material, and it's got like a vintage logo on it. That was really thoughtful. A stick bag. I actually have this exact stick bag and I love it. I use it for all of the sticks that I keep with my louder set of cymbals, and I wouldn't mind having another one of these around for maybe my jazz set of cymbals. So this will be great. Great quality. It holds a good number of sticks, but it's also not obnoxiously large or overkill for us who have to carry around a bunch of stuff gig to gig. So this is great. We've got their cymbal sizzler, which I believe was redesigned recently. I've seen some stuff about this online. It actually comes with one of these felt pieces, and then it looks like 2 different chains, and that just snaps on. So that's kind of cool because you could leave this on the cymbal during the gig and just take off the little chain if you don't want it on a song, instead of having to unscrew your wing nut, take this whole thing off, and maybe put a different felt back on. Drill bit drum key attachment. These are super great for taking heads off. With the amount of reheading I do all the time, I love using one of these. I will say be careful when you're putting heads back on. I'll use it just to thread down to the hoop, but I'll never tension a drum up with this. But if you're changing a whole set of heads, removing them could take 5 to 10 minutes. This will get it done in like under a minute. Nylon hybrid rods, and they're like a 2B thickness, I'm guessing. These are cool. I play a lot of expressive and quiet music, so sometimes a tool like this, like hot rods or brushes, are really useful in certain rooms. I've never owned a set like this where it was like mostly a drumstick and then just the tip of it is the rod part. And I don't know if I've even owned any that are like a nylon material. I've only owned the wood dowel kind, and those have a tendency to break over time. Maybe this will be a little more durable, but in any case, I'm excited to try them out. On to box number 2. So this is the box of sticks. When I was talking to the rep at Evans that I spoke with, I shared with him a few of the models of sticks I use for louder gigs and quieter gigs, and he picked out a few pairs that he thought I may like to try that would be similar but maybe a little different. The first one is this set of Rick Latham signature sticks. They're very similar to the sticks I use for louder music, but instead of the standard acorn tip, it has a barrel tip, which I like the articulation of a barrel tip. These will be fun to try. They feel comfortable in my hands, so I'll be excited to get some miles under these. We have their new Real Feel a tactile pad. This is like your standard gum rubber pad, but instead of just having the gum rubber material on top, they actually have like a layer of what I believe is their UV1 coating that has a little bit more attack in the sound, which is great for marching percussion. But for me as like a brush player, that would have the right texture for practicing with brushes. All right, this is the Annika Nile sticks. This was another one that he thought I may like. It feels about the same width. It's a little bit lighter, and it has a heavy taper. These are the Finesse 71B. Feels a little thicker than what I'm used to and definitely a little longer. And it has a nice, like, ball-shaped tip, which sounds great on cymbals, I know. And here's a set of their Fire Grain Forward 5As. I actually have used these before, mostly because I thought the look of them was pretty cool. And I keep a pair in my studio where my students can use them because they're a different color than standard sticks, so I don't get them mixed up with the other ones. I know that in woodworking, there's a technique of sealing wood. I'm gonna mess up the name, but it's like Shushugi-ban or something. I'm totally messing that up. I'll just put the word on the screen here. It's the method of using fire to seal wood and stop it from rotting or accepting moisture, much like we use polyurethane on most wood. So this is their steel jazz brushes. I play a lot of brushes with the music I do, and I've never tried Promark brushes, mostly because they just haven't been available where I lived growing up, and I'm a creature of habit, so I use what I'm used to. They feel pretty standard. Definitely a thinner wire gauge, not too thick, which I like. So we'll see how those feel on a gig. And then the last ones here are their light nylon brushes, and it says 5B. So I kind of like that they include the feel of a rod or a brush and let you know what kind of comparison that would be to a standard drumstick. That's nice that you can get some info on that. These are nylon brushes, which I don't use a lot for standard jazz playing, but I have a lot of friends who will use these for like quieter playing on a cajon or more in a standard drum set technique where you're actually striking a drum instead of swiping. So I think these will be useful as well. First thing we've got is the E-ring pack for overtone dampening. These are just those small plastic rings that you can put out to kill a little bit of ring. I have 10, 12, 14, 14, and one of them is wider than the other. That's great for a floor tom in my case, because that usually has a bit more sustain than I want. I buy these all the time for students with their drum sets if I help them rehead it, because it's a very simple solution to focus in the sound of your drums a bit more than I like with the natural ringy open drums. All right, the next thing we got in here is a set of G1 coated 10, 12, 14. Single ply coated heads are my default for almost everything I do. I'd like to venture out and try some of the other stuff Evans offers, but typically I just stick with what I know. This is one of their tune-up kits. I bought one of these a while ago for an acrylite I fixed up, and it was this same one, the UV1 snare tune-up kit. Not only is it an all-in-one package where you get top and bottom head, batter and resonant, you also get the snare wires, and then you get a number of tools to clean and get your drum set up for long-term success. What I like about this too, and I don't think I ever mentioned it in the video where I used it, is like, this box is like a mini workstation. They've got your tools here. It's got little cutouts to store your tension rods while you're tuning up your drum. It even comes with a pair of sticks. Tuning key, we've got metal polish, lug lubricant, a cloth, and an EQ pod. And then, like I said, of course, you have your set of wires, a UV1 batter head, and then the standard snare side 300 head. I have a drum I picked up at a garage sale at the beginning of the summer that is in desperate need of almost new everything, and I think this should be able to take care of that, which is great. 20-inch EMAD 2 clear. I love the EMAD heads. Any sort of pre-muffled head is just very practical for someone like me who's definitely going to be putting a towel or a pillow inside my bass drum. And I like that the muffling you have access to without taking the head off, so you could just swap out the rings that they give you and get a different level of dampening. I haven't tried the EMAD 2. I've bought the EMAD 1, usually because they're cheaper, and I think a single ply head will be fine. This is going to be very handy as I'm gigging through the summer. So that's all of it. Now, there is one sort of like bonus thing that they've included in here, whether it's deliberate or not, But a lot of these products still have the Players Circle codes. So I think what I'm going to do is go through all of them, input it into my Players Circle account on Daddario.com. I'll share with you how many points that added up to, and we can take a look on their website and see what that might be able to buy me just with the points they've included. Because if you're going to rehead your entire drum set with a new kick head, new tom heads, maybe the snare tune-up kit, a few pairs of sticks, I'm guessing it's going to go quite a long way to a future purchase. And that's one thing that really drew me to start purchasing Evans heads for myself. So let's move over to the computer and check that out. So I just finished up entering all the promo codes for like 20 different products, and it added up to be quite a lot. I will say it took a fair amount of time because each one of these codes is like 15 to 20 digits. And if you mess up one number, you got to start all over again. So that was a little exhausting, but I want to just take you through Daddario's site and show you kind of the dashboard for this player circle. And then let's shop around a little bit and see what all these points would be able to get me for free. Now, I already had a fair amount of points on my account. I had 9,325 before I inputted anything today. And as you can see now, I have 18,100. So that's a grand total of like 8,800-ish points just from all this stuff. What I will say is a pair of sticks is worth maybe 300 points. Some of the accessories between 200 and 300 points. The heads are really where you kind of make your money in terms of adding points to your account. The bass drum head was like 925 points. The tom head pack was about the same, and the same for the snare tune-up kit. So if you were just to like rehead all your drums, just the tops and maybe the tune-up kit, that would be like close to 3,000 points that you could use to purchase Daddario products. And that's not just Evans and Promark stuff. If you need a set of guitar strings, you need a saxophone reed, if you need an XLR cable, they sell all that stuff. When I was a kid coming up, they had this sort of program, but the only things you could really collect off of it were like keychains, a t-shirt, like swag type stuff. To actually be able to utilize it for products to increase the sound of your drums is super helpful. I want to see what the points I got today, like a little under 9,000, could get me in return. So your standard UV1 coated snare head, if we click on it here, 14-inch would cost a little under 5,000 points. This would be about half your points right away. But again, this is stuff that you're going to buy anyways to rehead your drums, and now you can already get a free snare head out of it. That's like buying just the heads for the tops, like I was saying before, and a few things extra, and you're already getting a bonus head for free. Let's go to like a bass drum head, because those are the things that I hate buying and spending money on, but it's sort of a necessity from time to time. For a batter head like the one I got, EMAD 2 clear bass batter, that would be a little over 8,000 points. So that's like almost all the points I got for free today. But that's like Evans just saying, pick out a bass drum head for free on your own from the stuff we sent you. Let's go and check out like drumsticks, because that's stuff that I think people go through a lot more frequently than a drum head, at least in my case. Let's just go with, actually, let's go with this. 3 standard and 1 set of fire grain. This would be 7,500 points. Again, I could get this for free just with the points I added today. And that's stuff that drummers go through regularly. 1 pair of sticks, about 2,500 points, so that could be useful. This is one of the products that I want to try soon. I saw that Promark redesigned their hot rods, which are legendary sticks that people have been using forever. But they changed the back end of them so that you can actually like play with it on a cymbal by giving it like a soft side. And that's only 4,000 points, you know? And I believe everything on Daddario's site, if you put in an order, ships free. If you are a general admission member, which is under 1,000 points redeemed, you get free shipping on non-points orders over $50. If you're a member and you're using points, you get free shipping on anything you do here, which is super handy. If you're ordering just with cash and not using your points, free shipping over $50. If you're VIP, over $30, all access over $20, which if you're placing an order, it's probably going to be over $20. Let's just be honest. So I hope this was informative to some of you out there, at least entertaining. I don't want it to come across as me showing off that Evans was kind enough to send me all this, but I am super grateful for their generosity and the appreciation they're showing for the work I'm doing on YouTube. I think we're going to have a few more videos coming down the pipeline with Evans helping me out on some heads for some various drum projects or just trying some of their stuff. So stay tuned for that. And if you don't already have a Players Circle account, I'd highly suggest signing up. I believe when you sign up and create an account, you get 100 points just for creating the account. And then you can start redeeming codes on everything you buy from Promark, Evans, Daddario, so on and so forth. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.